Hello and welcome to Newsweek South Asia, your one-stop destination for in-depth analysis of security challenges, regional conflicts, and the evolving threat of terrorism. Let's take a look at the headlines first. Border conflict between Pakistan and Afghanistan pushes civilians into camps. Karachi violence raises questions over Pakistan's sovereignty and security. And protests intensify in POJK as health workers demand allowances. The aftermath of the recent cross-border airstrikes is now unfolding in eastern Afghanistan, where displacement, not diplomacy, defines daily life for dozens of families. In Nangarhar province, homes lie in ruins and entire communities have been forced into makeshift camps. While Islamabad and Kabul continue to trade accusations over security and sovereignty, civilians remain uprooted, struggling for shelter, food, and the hope of returning home. A report.
The uneasy relationship between Pakistan and Afghanistan has frequently centered on security along their shared border, particularly near key crossings and disputed stretches of the frontier. Accusations of cross-border militancy and sovereignty violations have repeatedly strained diplomatic ties. In Nangarhar province, the human impact of this rivalry is now visible. Families displaced by Pakistani airstrikes are living in makeshift tents after their homes were destroyed. Residents say the bombardment began late at night and continued until morning, sending families fleeing into the dark for safety. Women and elderly residents wait for assistance, while children stand near the rubble of collapsed houses, a stark reminder of the destruction.
دغه پاکستان دغه مرتد حکومت نه چې د تایم چې د تجاوز وکړه او د ظلم د افغانانو سره وکړه بې ګناه خلک شهیدان کړه ماشومان شهیدان کړه په عمري کې مطلب بمبار وکړه دلته راغی په دې د پاس پوسټاپ دغه کورونا شاته دغه سړک سره دې ځای باندې بمبار وکړه مطلب جړ تیارې راغلې پوه تر بیګا پورې څه چې د بیګا پورې موږ خوب نه ماشومانو کړی نه موږ کړی.
The violence reportedly intensified near Torkham, a strategic trade and transit route linking the two countries. The crossing has often been a flashpoint during periods of heightened tensions, given its economic and military significance. According to reports, clashes erupted after evening prayers, forcing families to flee towards Lalpur camp or seek refuge with relatives. Heavy fighting reportedly continued through the following day, deepening fears of prolonged instability.
د جمعې پر شپه باندې د تراو نه پس موږ ځنه راکډوال شوي شدید جنگ په تورخام کې او دغلته څوک ورو ته انتقال شوي او څوک لالپورې دوسره کې تر انتقال شوي څوک خپل خپلوانو کرتلی او په تورخام کې سخت جنگ دی او شدید جنگ روان دی او دا تر بیګا پورې روانو.
Islamabad has defended the airstrikes as counter-terrorism operations targeting militant groups allegedly operating from Afghan soil, including areas under the control of the Taliban administration. However, critics argue that the strikes reflect an increasingly aggressive security posture by Pakistan, one that risks inflaming tensions rather than resolving them. Authorities in Afghanistan have strongly condemned the attacks, calling them a violation of national sovereignty and accusing Islamabad of endangering civilian lives under the pretext of counterterrorism.
د ټولو حکومتونو د ټولو د ادارو نه زموږ دغه چې دغه جنگ په پای کې یو دغه وکړي تړون وکړي او د جنگ نور ودري او خپل خورو لاړ شو که موږ نور توګي ته دغه وکړي خو چې موږ واپس خپل خورو ته په خیر لاړ شو.
The latest escalation reflects years of mistrust, border disputes, and mutual accusations between Kabul and Islamabad. While both governments cite security concerns, it is civilians who continue to pay the highest price. As families endure uncertain days in temporary shelters, calls are growing for restraint, diplomatic engagement, and immediate humanitarian assistance to prevent further suffering along the volatile frontier.
Pakistan, a country already grappling with political uncertainty, now faces questions about sovereignty and state responsibility. In Karachi, deadly violence outside the US consulate left at least 10 protesters dead, triggering outrage, religious anger, and a renewed debate over whether Pakistan's institutions can truly safeguard their own citizens. Take a look.
In Pakistan, public anger often spills quickly onto the streets, especially when religious sentiment and geopolitics intersect. Critics say the state repeatedly struggles to anticipate unrest, manage crowds, and balance diplomatic obligations with the protection of its own citizens. The latest tragedy in Karachi has once again exposed these structural weaknesses. Violence erupted after news spread of the killing of Ayatollah Ali Khamenei in US and Israeli airstrikes. Protesters gathered outside the American consulate on Mai Kolachi Road. According to reports, some demonstrators breached the compound's outer wall, after which security personnel opened fire. Civil Hospital Karachi confirmed at least 10 deaths and over 30 injuries, with reports of bullet wounds among victims. Protesters set a vehicle ablaze near the main gate before being pushed back with tear gas.
कराची में आपने देखा कि बहुत सारा नुकसान हुआ। पुलिस तैयार नहीं थी। काउंसिल खाने पे सुबह सुबह लोग पहुंच गए और पुलिस को पहले ही रात को अलर्ट होना चाहिए था कि बड़ी शख्सियत शहीद हुई है, ख़ासतौर पर अहले तशरीह के हवाले से, तो उनकी सिक्योरिटी के लिए इंतजाम करने चाहिए, वो नहीं किए। लोग शहीद हुए, हंगामे हुए, आम लोगों ने सफ़र किया, तकलीफ बर्दाश्त की। कराची शहरों के लिए दूसरे दिन भी रोड ब्लॉक, कराची में लोग परेशान हैं।
The unrest was not confined to Karachi. Nationwide demonstrations reportedly left at least 23 people dead, including casualties in Skardu and Islamabad. Section 144 was imposed in several cities as authorities increased security around diplomatic missions.
आज कराची में रियासती गुंडों ने, रियासती दहशतगर्दों ने जो फायरिंग की है, उसकी एफआईआर उन रियासती इदारों के अफसरान के खिलाफ होनी चाहिए। हमारा ये सबसे मेन मुतालबा है। और जो हमारे जवानों को अरेस्ट किया गया है, गुमशुदा किया गया, आज के रोज 1 मार्च को उनको फिलफौर रिहा किया जाए।
The tragedy reflects a dual failure: the state's inability to contain religious extremism before it spills onto the streets, and its inability to manage the fallout once violence erupts. In Karachi, what began as an emotionally charged protest over the killing of Ayatollah Ali Khamenei rapidly escalated into a deadly confrontation that authorities appeared ill-prepared to prevent. Despite Pakistan's long history of sectarian sensitivity and mass mobilization around religious causes, critics argue that intelligence and law enforcement agencies failed to anticipate the scale and intensity of the reaction. Once crowds gathered outside the US consulate, the situation deteriorated swiftly, exposing weaknesses in crowd control, crisis management, and coordination between civil administration and security forces. At the same time, the government faces the complex obligation of protecting foreign missions under the Vienna Convention on Consular Relations. The result is a troubling image of a state caught between competing pressures, reluctant to confront hardline religious mobilization decisively, yet unable to enforce consistent law and order when unrest erupts. For many observers, the Karachi killings are not an isolated breakdown, but part of a recurring pattern: reactive governance, delayed preparedness, and limited transparency after crisis.
Allegations of enforced disappearances and state repression in Pakistan's Sindh province are drawing renewed attention internationally. Sindhi nationalist groups claim that activists demanding an independent Sindhu Desh are facing increasing pressure from Pakistani security agencies. Sindhi demonstrators are calling on the international community to take note of the situation and raise concerns over human rights violations. Take a look.
Yesterday, Bangladesh was created. Now Sindhu Desh will be created. These were the slogans raised by protesters in London during demonstrations against Pakistan. Activists claim that much like the movements seen in Bangladesh in the past and the ongoing unrest in Balochistan, calls for independence are now gaining momentum in Pakistan's Sindh province. According to Sindhi nationalist groups, repression against organizations demanding freedom for Sindhudesh has intensified in recent times. They allege that the Pakistani army and intelligence agencies, including the ISI, are forcibly abducting activists associated with the movement and carrying out extrajudicial killings.
सिंध में पाकिस्तानी रियासती इदारों की तरफ से ISI, MI, रेंजर्स पुलिस की तरफ से सिंध की कौमी तहरीक के खिलाफ पूरे सिंध भर में ऑपरेशन किया जा रहा है। मुख्तलिफ सिंध से मोहब्बत करने वाले कौमी कारकुनान और जो है सिंध का दर्द दुख जो है उस पे आवाज़ उठाने वाले कारकुनान को जबरन उठा के गुम कर दिया जा रहा है और जो है उनके घरों पर चढ़ाइयाँ करके उनकी फैमिलीज़ को हिरासत किया जा रहा है।
Activists of Sindhi nationalist parties running a revolutionary movement for the independence of Sindhudesh from Pakistan are reportedly being abducted and disappeared almost every day. However, Sohail Abro, chairman of the GS Sindh Freedom Movement, who is currently living in exile in London, said that his party is playing a key role in the Sindhudesh independence movement. Therefore, the Pakistani army and the intelligence agency ISI are now conducting raids on the homes of leaders of the GS Sindh Freedom Movement residing in Sindh and are using authoritarian tactics to intimidate the families of exiled Sindhi leaders. The army establishment that controls power in Pakistan and its puppet governments are on the one hand accused of exploiting the valuable natural resources of Sindh, Balochistan and Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. On the other hand, they are allegedly carrying out state repression against the three subjugated nations that are raising their voices against the forced exploitation of their natural resources. In Karachi, the capital of Sindh province, peaceful Sindhi activists celebrating Sindhi Culture Day were reportedly subjected to state violence. Clashes broke out between Karachi police and Sindhi activists, leaving dozens injured and many arrested.
आज पुरअमन एहतजाज कराची प्रेस क्लब पर सिंधी कौम परस्त जमात अवामी राज तहरीक ने भी किया, तो उस पर पुलिस ने जो है कराची प्रेस क्लब और गवर्नर हाउस के नज़दीक उन पर जो है लाठियाँ बरसाई गई हैं, शेलिंग गैस उन पर बरसाई गई हैं, मुख्तलिफ गिरफ्तारियाँ की गई हैं, खलील शाह को और कारकुनों को गिरफ़्तार किया गया है, जिसकी भी हम मज़म्मत करते हैं और पुरअमन एहतजाज करने वालों को भी रियासत जो है टारगेट कर रही है। इसी तरह जो है सिंह पर्सन्स का सिलसिला सालों से सिंध में, बलूचिस्तान में, खैबर पख्तूनख्वा में जारी।
Stop military operation in Balochistan. Stop Baloch genocide.
As protests continue abroad and allegations of repression grow louder, the situation increasingly reflects a widening disconnect between Pakistan's powerful military establishment and the aspirations of its smaller nationalities. Provinces such as Sindh, Balochistan and Khyber Pakhtunkhwa have for years witnessed complaints over political marginalization, uneven development and the exploitation of natural resources. Despite repeated calls for greater autonomy and fair representation, dissent in these regions has often been met with crackdowns, restrictions on political mobilization and allegations of enforced disappearances. The persistence of such tensions highlights a deeper structural challenge within Pakistan's political system, where power is widely perceived to remain concentrated within the military establishment and central authorities.
In Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir, health workers have intensified their protest in Muzaffarabad, demanding immediate implementation of long-pending allowances and service reforms. With OPD services disrupted and frustration mounting, the strike highlights growing discontent over administrative delays and unresolved financial disparities within the region's health department. A report.
Health Department employees in Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir staged a strike at the Abbas Institute of Medical Sciences in Muzaffarabad to press the government for acceptance of their long-pending demands. Due to the protest, outpatient department services were temporarily closed, causing inconvenience to patients and hospital visitors. Protesters gathered inside and outside the hospital premises, raising slogans and demanding immediate action on their charter of demands, which they say has remained unresolved despite repeated assurances from authorities.
ये ऐसा चार्टर डिमांड है जिसमें डिबेट की भी जरूरत नहीं है और सोचने की भी जरूरत नहीं है, लेकिन हम इस बात पे परेशान हैं कि 1 महीना गुजरने को आ गया है, लेकिन इस वक्त तक इस पर कोई काम गवर्नमेंट की तरफ से नहीं किया गया। हमारी 2 बड़ी डिमांड्स हैं, जिनमें एक हेल्थ अलाउंस है जो 25% मिल रहा है, जबकि दूसरी तरफ तमाम मुलाजमीन को डिस्पैरिटी अलाउंस दिया गया और अपने जो सेहत आमा के मुलाजमीन है सिर्फ इस बुनियाद पे ऐसे बाहर निकाल दिया गया कि आप हेल्थ अलाउंस ले रहे हैं जो आपकी तनख्वाह का 25% बनता है, उसको 100% कंसिडर करते हुए हमें डिस्पैरिटी अलाउंस से भी यूटिलिटी अलाउंस से भी बाहर कर दिएगा।
The protesters maintained that their demands are clear and need immediate implementation rather than prolonged deliberation. They voiced frustration that despite the passage of nearly a month, the government has taken no concrete steps.
हमने ये अपना चार्ट ऑफ डिमांड 30 जनवरी को हुकूमत आज़ाद कश्मीर जनाब चीफ सेक्रेटरी को दिया था और उसके बाद हमने 6 फरवरी को एहतजाजी मुजाहरा किया था इसकी मंजूरी के लिए। फिर 13 तारीख से हम टोकन हड़ताल पे हैं कि हुकूमत आज़ाद कश्मीर हमारे मुतालबात सुने। 13 तारीख को वज़ीर सेहत आमा आज़ाद हुकूमत रियासत जम्मू कश्मीर जनाब बादल नकवी साहब ने हमें बुलाया और डायरेक्टर जनरल की मौजूदगी में हमारे इन मुतालबात को दुरुस्त करार दिया और हेल्थ अलाउंस का ये तय पाया कि 2022 की सतह पे रनक बेसिस पे अभी आपको हम देंगे और 2026 की रनक बेसिस पे हम बजट में ले आएंगे, लेकिन ताल इसका नोटिफिकेशन का इजरा नहीं किया गया और दीगर जो हमारे मुतालबात है स्पोर्ट एंड स्टाफ का सर्विस स्ट्रक्चर है, पैरामेडिक्स का, हमारे डिग्री होल्डर का है, 4 निकाती तरजियाती फार्मूला है, इसके तहत हम ये चाह रहे हैं। इसी तरह हमारी हेल्थ फाउंडेशन है, स्पेशल हेल्थ केयर अलाउंस है जो डॉक्टर्स को मिल रहा है, जबकि स्पेशल हेल्थ केयर हम कर रहे हैं। इसी तरह यूटिलिटी अलाउंस है, डिस्पेरिटी अलाउंस है, ये हमें नहीं मिल रहा, महकमा सेहत में हमारे मुलाजमीन को नहीं मिल रहा। हेल्थ अलाउंस जो है वो भी 2017 की सतह पे 25 में मिल रहा है।
The protest has once again exposed what employees describe as deep governance failures and a persistent pattern of delayed decision making in Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir. Despite formal meetings, verbal commitments and negotiated agreements, implementation on the ground remains stalled, reflecting weak administrative follow-through and institutional inefficiency.
And with that, we come to the end of this edition of Newsweek South Asia. We will be back next week with more news, views and analysis from the subcontinent. Meanwhile, do keep writing to us at nwsa@anin.com. This is Akansha Parimu signing off on behalf of the entire team of Newsweek South Asia. Goodbye and take care.